Today, on the return to the Premier League, lots of action over the past weekend as the games returned. Tottenham being held by Brentford, Arsenal cruising to victory over West Ham, Chelsea and Man U picking up flawless victories, and Man City getting it done with Haaland against Leeds. This is the Premiership Perusal podcast.
Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Back, Fuchs, and the ball in behind Damian Vardy! It's 11! It's heaven for Jamie Vardy!
You are an ostrich. Well, your head must be in the sand. Is your head in the sand? Are you flexible enough to get your head in the sand?
Now the fans are shouting every week, Louis van Gaal's army! Louis van Gaal's army!
Feet after a fabulous start, the game just got away from you there.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say about the game at all.
Drama from day one! This is the league we want to watch!
We're back
via the cyberspace.
Yep. You can always rely on the internet to get the job done.
We live in an age where such things exist.
We don't like to take use of them all the time, but when it's necessary, it must be done.
It's like a break in case of emergency.
Yeah, you don't ever want to have to do it. I would try to make a good analogy here, but I can't think of any that would be appropriate for the podcast.
Yes. I mean, really, it just comes down to, it's behind the glass box, and sometimes you got to break the glass box, and the show must go on.
Yeah. You put the headset on.
You
give it a whirl.
You put the blanket on.
You put the headset plug into the computer and you load up your meeting.
You load up your Zoom calls.
I tell you what, the week started off quite strong. Some thrilling games. As the week went on, it got more boring. But let's start off Saturday. Brentford, Tottenham. To the lineups. Saturday,
Brentford versus Tottenham. Their early game for Brentford. Raya, Pinnock, Zanka, me, Henry, Norgard, Jensen, Janelt, Ruslev, Ivan Toney, and Brian Mbeumo. For Tottenham, some changes. Forster, Dyer, Tanganga.
Not with that.
This guy's alive. Forgot he was on the team. Langley, Doherty, Højbjerg, Perisic, Bissouma, Son, Harry Kane, and Kulusevski. So, some enforced rotation, obviously. No Romero, Hugo Lloris on the bench, Fraser
That's what
Forster.
happens when you're such a top club like Tottenham. You have all the players in the World Cup.
Yes, and the World Cup final at that.
Yeah.
So getting into the game, Tottenham, they had some possession, but it was pretty sloppy. The passing was just not there. And it was looking pretty rough. It was looking like, just woke up from one of those naps where you're like, what time is it? Tottenham didn't know what time it was.
Looking around.
Yes.
Really zoned out.
The motion blurred Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Brentford were able to capitalize on that. And in the 15th minute, they scored on the counter. And Mbeumo hits the cross to Jensen. Shot deflected, making it difficult for Fraser to deal with. And Janelt came in to tap it home for the 1-0 early lead.
Southampton feeling vindicated given the fact they let Fraser Forster leave, as in he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, shambolic. Really, Brentford, I would say, looked better in the first half than Tottenham. Tottenham just looked pretty slow off the bat. Struggled to get out of first gear. They had a chance in the 34th minute. Zanka forcing Fraser into a kick save from a long throw-in. And then just before halftime, Ivan Toney scores after a bad giveaway, but it's ruled offside. Goes into halftime 1-0. Poor half from Tottenham. Failed to control the game and pretty sloppy in possession. Just out of halftime, there was a penalty shout. This was a bit controversial for some people. Ben Mee pulling down Harry Kane in the box. Nothing given. It seemed like it could have been given, but I think on some replays it looked like it was kind of 50-50.
Yeah, it's the little pull down, not, anytime there's a tug at the jersey, you'll see a for sure call, you would think. But, I mean, those pull downs, it's not always a guarantee. I probably would say yeah, but Kane was looking for it, obviously, as a crafty man of his caliber would.
Yeah. And then just a few minutes after that, some real comedy as Eric Dyer completely shanks a clearance backwards.
That was amazing.
And it goes out for a corner, and Brentford score from the ensuing corner. And Bumo flicking on the corner to Ivan Toney, who's not yet banned, and taps in from close range to take a 2-0 lead. Tottenham were able to get back in the game. 65th minute, they scored after a nice ball from Lenglet to Kane with a great header across the goal. And Bumo had a chance right after that, but his shot went over. And then 5 minutes after that, Højbjerg grabbing the equalizer as Kulusevski's deflected pass falls right to him. A bit lucky, possibly, but overall, I think Tottenham kind of deserved it.
It definitely wasn't really a game where one team completely dominated, to say the least, and the chances in terms of quality and quantity were kind of even throughout. So I'd say 2-2 is probably a fair scoreline if you're looking at this one.
Yeah. Then there was some awful dives right back to back. Doherty had one, and then Mbeumo, maybe dive of the year.
That was really nice. That if the Estupiñán one in the League Cup was in the Premier League, I think that would be one of the top moments of the year. Just that's like shithousery to another level when you like literally wait for the guy to slide tackle and you purposely like fall on him.
Yes.
Hook your leg. That's awesome.
Both sides had a chance. Harry Kane had a headed chance but hit it off the bar and out, and then Ivan Toney had a chance from close range, but his effort went over. The points are shared 2-2 in the first match back.
Yeah, pretty solid result for Brentford. Tottenham, not the best result that you would have thought going in, but given how you performed, I think you'll take that. Could have easily went the other way too. Brentford's done that in the past and this year especially in terms of kind of snatching some winners. So
yeah, it's kind of been the theme of Tottenham that they dig themselves a hole and they have to get themselves out of it.
They'll never make it easy on themselves.
And that's what we saw. A little rust coming out of the World Cup break, but the second half was...
Let's talk about rust a little more.
Yes.
Move on Palace and Fulham.
Yes.
This Crystal Palace performance was about as rust as a old 1970s junker. Let's get to the lineups. Goita, Mitchell, Tompkins, Anderson, Klein, Elise, Schlupp, Ducore, Ayew, Etse, Will Zaha, the Wilf, Fulham, Leno, Tete, Ream, Jop, Anthony Robinson, Harrison Reed, Bobby Reed, Andreas Pereira, Willian, Joao Palhinha, and Alex Mitrovic. I tell you what, this game, slow start, sloppy for Palace. As Fulham were on the front foot. Pereira really had the best chance. Oh, jeez. Jeez Louise. It just doesn't go away. Pereira, first chance on the free kick. Quite a nice little save, push it out for a corner. But the game was really lacking attack. I would guess Fulham kind of had like Palace pinned in a bit, but not really, wasn't going anywhere. Palace finally break through after turning Fulham over in the midfield, but results in a Ayew rip off the crossbar. Went right over Leno's head and just off the bar. And then we finally get a goal. Absolute horror sequence from Crystal Palace's defense as they give the ball away out of the back. Mitrovic squaring the ball for Bobby Reed, making it 1-0. Mitrovic, provider in this game, could have had 3 assists. Could have had 3 assists in this one. Only ends up at 2. Bobby Reed in that spot that you normally used to see Mitrovic in, putting it home. So 1-0 to Fulham. Tyrick Mitchell gets a red shortly after the goal. Pretty tough when you're sliding and it's like kind of high shin near the knee. That you're just begging for that one. Studs up.
Yeah.
And Tompkins, who had a yellow early in the game, gets a second yellow and Palace down to 9 men. Brutal.
Brutal. Not how you want to come back in your first game back.
No, especially when one of them's James Tompkins. You're like, you're just supposed to like not completely cost us the game.
Yeah.
Fulham have a couple chances go off the post and saved on the line by Guaita before they get a second through Tim Ream. Smashing it home, roofing it off the corner.
The pride of America.
Yeah, 2-0. Andreas Per, a big chance for 3-0, but a weak shot at Guaita. It was really all Fulham. When you're down to 9 men, it's going to be pretty tough to get anything going in attack. But then Mitrovic adds a third, which gives him a goal and 2 assists on the day. Wraps up 3-0 for Fulham. There wasn't much really in depth about this one because it was kind of, Fulham kind of had Palace pinned in, and Palace couldn't really play out of the back. Couldn't really turn Fulham over that much in midfield. They did one time, couldn't capitalize. And then Fulham, they took advantage. And once they had a 1-0 lead and then Palace followed up by getting 2 reds, there was no way back for Palace. It was all downhill after that.
Right.
So, good win for Fulham. Horrible performance for Palace. It's really only up from there for Palace. But Fulham, we talked about they might drop off. Yeah, maybe they won't.
Maybe they'll just get better.
Maybe they'll just be too good.
Now they locked down Tim Ream contract extension.
Oh, yes. Got to scare off Man City.
Massive signing.
Well, I tell you what, a team that is rolling is Fulham. A team that might start rolling. New manager, about to get a £50 million man.
Yes.
We're talking Wolverhampton Wanderers.
That's right. Going up against the mighty Everton. To the lineups: Pickford, Tarkowski, Patterson, Yerry Mina, Mikalenko, Onana.
Get that guy out of here.
Iwobi, Idrissa Gana McNeil, Anthony Gordon, and Neil Maupay. Or as the one commentator kept saying, Moppy.
He's just pure disrespecting him. He's like, I don't even need to know this guy's name.
For Wolves, Saw, Collins, Semedo, Kilman, Hugo Bueno, Neves, Moutinho, Hodge, Podence, Hwang Hee-chan, and Diego Costa.
So there's something to Joe Hodge apparently, because if Lopetegui's coming out here and just giving him the start right away, that's a wild move. That's a wild move. They don't have many options.
I looked at this Wolves lineup with disappointment because I was hopeful. But what do I see? I see Diego Costa. This guy should not be starting. He's so bad. He's so bad. He can't move. It's the corpse. You're basically.
I love that they have a guy from Montenegro on the bench. Shout out Nikola Pekovic.
Yes, the backup goalkeeper. Let's go, Sarkic. But come on, to me, you gotta throw in Guedes in there or Jimenez.
No, he's clicking too. He was clicking too much before the World Cup. You gotta sit him.
Diego Costa is just not good. But anyways, getting into the game, Everton gets off to an early start, 7 minutes in. Who other than Yerry Mina? Scoring from the corner kick.
Why is in there? Only Fat Frank would know that he could score.
And there was some real superb set-piece defending. as somehow Hugo Bueno, the 4-foot-tall Spaniard man, got matched up against Yerry Mina.
Yerry Mina, one of my top 5 least favorite players in the league.
He might be in my top 2, right next to Richarlison. And Everton, they were kind of in control for decent spells of the game, but Wolves were kind of doing the classic Wolves counterattack style, and they equalized in the 22nd minute after winning a corner kick. You could tell they had practiced their set piece routines, and it showed in this one. They took it quick to Moutinho at the top of the box, flicked it on to Podence at the back post, scores first time. Nice little volley shot to draw it level. It kind of got a bit hectic after that. A little bit of a track meet from both sides. Not a whole lot of quality, if that's surprising at all.
Yeah, it is pretty surprising, Sam. I'm glad that you asked and tried to make a statement. It is surprising. There's a lot of quality out here.
A lot of
From Neil
quality
Moppy.
between these two teams.
Neil
Moppy.
Moppy specifically.
32nd minute, Anthony Gordon played through on goal, but the poor finish, the soft little shot, couldn't get it past Jose Sa. Anthony Gordon, he looked good getting back in the lineup. He was probably the most dangerous player for Everton. Just couldn't put the biscuit in the basket, as they say.
Yes.
And to be honest, my impression of Wolves, just overall, it was disappointing. It didn't look that much different than what they had been doing previously,
Yeah,
where
but
it's
to
just
be
like
fair, you're not gonna turn it over overnight, especially when you haven't brought in
I
anyone new.
expected
There's
more
only so much you can
though,
do.
having this kind of second preseason. I
That's
expected
fair.
a little bit of a change in tactics, but to me it was almost identical to what they were doing, which was
Yeah, Lopetegui actually did what De Zerbi did, and De Zerbi looked at Brighton. He's like, "All right, guys, we're rolling. Let's keep it
yes,
going." Lopetegui said the same thing. He's like, "Let's keep it rolling. We're clicking." And they looked at the table. He's like, "Oh wait, no, no, no."
yes, exactly. And it was really almost the same exact tactics. Sit back way too much, have very little possession, and try and hit on the counter, but to minimal success. Really, Everton was the better side throughout most of this game.
That's what Fat Frank does. He unjustly loses games, and then
Yes.
people say that he sucks.
Yeah, it goes into halftime 1-1. Second half, Everton got off to a good start, but really there's just a black hole. The Neil Maupay position. Somehow Calvert-Lewin is still hurt. He's forever hurt.
Yeah, well, you know what Everton fans say about him. Our number 9 wears knickers and a bra, or whatever that
Yes.
tweet was.
They had some half chances, and then 84th minute they had a chance from a set piece, and Wolves had cleared off the line. And then at the death, 90 plus 5, Wolves win the ball back, commit numbers forward on the final counterattack. Traore has a deflected cross, falls to Ait-Nouri, who's able to
You
scramble it
say
home.
deflected, I say skill because he's so amazing.
Calculated.
I think my favorite thing about this game from Wolves was the fact they had 6 yellow cards.
Yeah, it was getting a little scrappy.
I mean, that's how they're gonna have to stay up. They're just gonna have to just go at these teams, try and be physical.
Yeah, I expected more from Wolves, but I guess they got the win pretty unjustly, if you ask me. Rough go for our guy, Super Frankie Fat Lampard.
Super fat Frankie Lampard.
Super Fat Frankie Lampard. Disappointing, but Wolves, hopefully there's some changes to come. And hopefully Diego Costa
probably
isn't
dropped
starting.
Diego Costa. Neves didn't play in this one, did he?
He did.
I don't think so, right? He did.
Yeah.
Who was I
Mateus
thinking of?
didn't.
Oh, Nunes. Nunes didn't play.
He got
He
subbed
should get in
on.
there. Guede should get in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, start those guys.
Yeah, they should be
Start
starting.
Ait-Nouri.
Yeah.
So,
All right, moving on to the next match of the week.
Oh
Newcastle
man,
versus Leicester. I
your
think I
team
called
is
this one, actually.
your team's in just shambles.
Did
I'm
I
trying to think of the ones I called this week.
did I not call it
I
3-0?
think I called Arsenal West Ham. I think that was the only one I called score line precisely.
I think I called it 3-0 for this one. Roll back the tapes. Anyways, to the lineups: Leicester, Ward, Voot, Amarte, Castagna, Luke Thomas, Harvey Barnes, Tielemans, Dewsbury Hall, Pratt, Sumore, and Patson Daka. For Newcastle, Nick Pope, Trippier, Botman, Scher, Byrne, Willock, Longstaff, Bruno G, Joelinton, Chris Wood. Chris
Yes.
Wood. Somehow
Third string.
Callum
Third
Wilson not
Third
fit
string.
to play this game.
Yeah, he played a lot for England at the World Cup in our break.
And Miggy Almiron, the man on fire.
Yes. Yes. The Paraguayan. Unstoppable.
This one got off to a bad start early. And who other than Daniel Amarte to give up a penalty 2 minutes into the game? That guy,
Yeah, well, it sure as hell wasn't going to be Wout Foss.
that guy is the ultimate liability.
How dare you?
And then who else other than Chris
Chris
Wood?
Wood.
We all expected the Chris Wood goal.
Chris Wood taking it to your guy, Danny Ward, who's now out of form again because he didn't get to play
Yes,
all the games for Wales. They only played one.
yes. It's because I put him in my fantasy Premier League lineup because he's
He was on my bench.
like the
Mr.
cheapest
Open this week.
starting goalkeeper. Newcastle grab a second just a few minutes later in the 7th minute. Miguel Almiron after a nice 1-2 with
Yeah.
Bruno G.
Remember last week when you said surely he can't keep it up?
He went and did it.
Wrong. You're wrong.
MLS's finest.
Yeah. I mean, they're just a a league where the finest
A hotbed.
talents bud. Yeah, an absolute hotbed for young prospects to really blossom.
You know what it does? It opens them up and it puts that dog in them. And then it closes them back up and sends them on their way.
And then when Jack Grealish says he plays like Almiron, you can just fucking let that inner dog out and just score on everyone.
Oh, man. Patson Daka had a couple chances in the first half, but his finishing was really quite poor.
I think I'm just out on that guy. I think I'm out on him.
Yeah, I think I am too. I think
he can go to like France and have like 1 year where he does really well and people are like, oh,
Should have kept him.
Leicester let him go. Yeah, and then the next year is like 4 goals in 34 games and you're like, no, yeah, he actually wasn't good.
Yeah, I could see him doing well on maybe like a Bundesliga team. Because he came from, was it Salzburg or Leipzig?
I think it was Salzburg.
Yeah, I could see him doing decent in the Bundesliga just because his style.
Yeah,
of
that's
play.
because Bundesliga teams have their high lines
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Exactly. Like he was getting into decent spots, but I mean the
He can't
finishing was
finish.
so bad. And then Newcastle almost puts it away, by all intents and purposes in the 32nd minute. Joelinton rises up over Sumare on the corner, scores 3-0, goes into halftime 3-0. Second half, Leicester bring on some subs, Vardy and co, but ultimately unable.
They couldn't do anything because Newcastle is going to win the league.
Yeah, Newcastle, too solid at the back, able to just coast.
I'm just kidding. Can
second
people
half.
just ever like accept the fact that like Dan Burn's amazing? Are we
Dan
ever gonna
Burn
get
is
there?
amazing.
Where it's like there'll actually be someone who gives him credit, and then people be like, "Oh, this guy thinks Dan Burn is world class." It's like, are we sure he's not? Are we sure? I think he's pretty good.
He's pretty underrated.
Dan Burn fan club.
Yeah.
Forever.
So, Newcastle off to a good start. Leicester hopefully can pick it up in their next game.
Yeah, we're virtually on that with the next matchup, but it was two worse teams. Brighton, who are still rolling, and Southampton, who are still shitting their pants. To the lineups. Southampton, we have Bazunu, Walker-Peters, Leancao, Perot, Salisu, Ward-Prowse, Gineppo, Edozie, El Nuesi, Diallo, Che Adams. I'll tell you what, Nathan Jones, I hate that lineup. I hate it a lot. Where's Joe Rebo? Where's Stu Armstrong? I would just play Mara. I like Mara better than Adams at this point.
And I like how
Shaletta Shar, no bottle of
Lianco is
ketchup.
now starting. What?
Yeah, where both you have both your starting center backs on the bench and Shaletta Shar and bottle of ketchup.
Yeah.
I think Salisu's below both of them right now. For Brighton, De Gerby's men, Sanchez, Dunk, Colwill. We were talking about Dan Burn being underrated. I think Lewis Dunk's like insanely underrated.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
I think he's like probably Tottenham quality, but no one ever talks about him. What was I saying? Dunk, Colwill, Estupinan, Veltman, March, Gross, Lalana, Argai, Matomo,
Yes.
Caicedo, and Leo Trossard.
I like how you said Matomo.
Yeah, well, it's not Matoma, it's Matomo. I changed his
Matomo.
name. Southampton kind of flying around, and Brighton seem a little on the back foot early, but balanced in terms of possession, and really level of the field wasn't really tilted inside 10 minutes. The best chance inside the first 10 minutes came from Matoma, funny enough. Just dangle show and rips one near post. But first goal goes for Brighton. Adam Lallana scoring off a header. No Selly out of pure respect for Southampton, but Bazunu with potentially the weakest wrist I've ever seen in my life. What was that?
That was it was because I was saying, he's not bad. And then, he goes and does that.
Yeah, Sam, watch this. So Brighton up 1-0. James Ward-Prowse free kick chance from the edge of the box goes wide. Probably Southampton's best chance for a good while. After that, it kind of dries up. Brighton go quick as Stupinan squaring it for Solly March. Practically forced Perot into an own goal, so it's 2-0. Brighton really able to hit on the counter in this one, even though it didn't feel like Southampton was possessing it all that much, which was kind of weird. Matoma ended up skying the shot. Big chance for Brighton before half to make it 3, but they don't take it, so it goes in halftime 2-0. Second half, Solly March. Solly freaking March. 3-0, absolute belter.
This guy's been having a great season.
I told you, no McAllister, Solly March time. Okay. He comes in, has the game of his life. I just had to make note about how amazing Matoma is and how he can create anything whenever he wants.
Dude, he's
whenever
awesome.
He's on the ball.
He's electric.
He's nuts. He just gets the ball. He just starts sprinting.
Yeah, he just starts sprinting.
He just like knows what he's doing. He's like, I'm getting the ball to the goal. Southampton do get a penalty, and it's saved, but James Ward-Prowse falls up for 3-1. After that, not a ton going on. Southampton not really able to get it going. Finishes 3-1. Some interesting quotes after the game from Nathan Jones. I'm still trying to decipher if I'm in or out on him, but it's one of those things where it's either going to go so bad that there's a turning point and people wake up and realize that they got to get their shit together, or it's just going to be really bad and they're going to be bottom from here on out. As far as Brighton go, Derby, he's got them rolling. They know what they are. It feels like you could probably plug and play any kind of manager in there right now. They just have such a solid squad. As long as they have Caicedo and Trossard and Matoma, you know?
Yeah, and something we were talking about in the last episode, McAllister, there's already rumblings of him going to Juventus possibly.
Yeah, Atletico Madrid,
Atletico,
Arsenal, Chelsea.
Yeah, so that didn't take long for those rumors to start flying, but it doesn't matter. He's not in the lineup, and they still win. They're still rocking. They got Solly March. They got Solly freaking March.
Yeah, I would say, where would you put McAllister in terms of like how important he is to Brighton? I might have him like 4th, maybe. I'm like the 4th best guy. I'm sure like all the advanced stats will say other shit, but I think Dunk, Trossard, Caicedo, maybe even Bobby Sanchez over. You can make a case.
I think he's
probably
replaceable.
Yeah,
I don't think it's like you take them out of the team and they just fall apart. So
100%. But I think that's what Brighton built for.
yeah, I think so. Exactly.
Moving on. Next game, Villa, Liverpool. Very exciting game right
The
here.
Stevie G Memoriam.
Yeah, the Stevie G Memorial, the Christian Benteke Cup. A
Benteke.
lot of names that can be thrown around here. In that, Robin Olsen was really hoping we would get to see
Philip
the other
Marshall.
guy. Yeah, young Phil Marsh. Um, Ezri Konsa, Tyrone Mings, Ashley Young, Luca Digne, uh, Doug Lewis, John McGinn, Emmy Buendia, Boubacar Kamara, Ollie Watkins, Leon Bailey. For Liverpool, Alisson, Van Dijk, Robertson, Matip, Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Thiago, Jordan Henderson, Mo Salah, the Ox, your man, and Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp. He said, "Well, we have to play the Ox, so that is why we have to bring in Gurigatko. Uh, the Ox, he should not be playing, and I am sorry, but the pitch is dry."
Yeah, he looked and he said,
Didi Hamann.
he looked at it and he's like, I have to be brave and say that the Ox
Is not good enough.
is very bad.
Uh,
But I have to play him because we have no depth.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Game starts off kind of hectic. Corner was cleared by Villa, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold in the middle of the pitch, just an absolute dime to Robertson, squares it across the box for Salah for an easy tap in. You know, when you have Alexander-Arnold on his game, makes a huge difference. Hasn't been that way this year. They haven't been putting him in the best spots. He hasn't been nearly as quality. Same with Robertson, but they're able to connect there as Villa was quite exposed, especially wide. Villa kind of turning on an attack, few chances for Ollie Watkins. Um, in the meantime, Liverpool keeping up their attacking prowess. Matip scores from a set piece, but was offsides. Just more proof. Villa's defense was quite shaky in this game. There's a mix of the midfield wasn't helping them out a ton, but I didn't feel very great about the Mings Konsa pairing. Let's put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still a back and forth, very exciting game, very attack minded. Núñez stuffed on a one-on-one volley. I felt like he could have taken a touch and just dribbled it, but he took the volley. Liverpool do make it 2-0. Virgil van Dijk off a corner. Kind of a mad scramble. He gets it in there. And Liverpool almost make it 3-0 off a set piece, but Núñez hits it right at Olsen. Darwin Núñez just feels like it's no one could be this bad. It's just bad luck at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting into the good spots. It's just the finishing has been woeful.
Yeah. So 2-0 at halftime. Second half, Villa starts strong, have a nice passing sequence that leads to Watkins through, and he scores, but he's offside by half a step. Yeah, and then Villa create another chance with McGinn wide open at the back post, but a soft header right at Alisson. It's kind of weird because McGinn, they're almost playing him in attack as like a winger slash wingback, whipping balls in. Strange. You don't normally see that. Villa really pile it on, and finally, Ollie Watkins scores off a header. Nice Doug Lewis cross. As Watkins heads it home past Alisson. No easy feat. Liverpool attack second half quite lackluster, and it didn't help. Núñez kept missing any chance he got.
Yeah.
But it really put Liverpool kind of on the back foot because their defense had to be in top form with Villa creating all these chances. But it doesn't matter because it is 3-1 Liverpool as their young Spaniard just Megs Mings on the empty net.
Oof.
I'm not sure why Robin Olsen's out there. I'll tell you that much. But he stinks. But it's what's his name? Bajsetić, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Stefan.
Stefan.
Anyways, makes it 3-1. Gets his debut goal. That was a disgusting performance by Aston Villa defensively.
It was not a good evening.
No. That's what you say to Ezri Konsa. You pull him in your office and you yell at him. Same with Luca Digne.
Yeah, Luca Digne
Good evening, you are on transfer list.
Luca Digne is so washed, dude.
Yeah, some people still think that he's like good enough, and they just don't. They don't let him cook. You gotta let Luca Digne cook. But he's such a defensive liability. It's like
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
very much a luxury player.
Yeah.
He should really be like a backup at Chelsea or like Tottenham or something. He could
Mhm.
be at Tottenham with Emerson Royale.
Yeah.
Royale with cheese. Who
Yeah.
did you see that Tottenham were like, we're open to selling him? And it's like, yeah, I'm sure you are. Guess who's interested in buying him?
Absolutely no one.
Real Betis for 3 mil.
Yeah,
That's who.
the bargain bin.
Yeah. You're gonna sell him to Getafe for a loan fee of 4 million euro.
Yeah, well, you're paying all 80% or
Yeah, the
the
wages.
wages.
So while Villa looks sad, I think there's one team more sad on this day than Villa. And it's not just Southampton. I think it's West Ham.
Oh, West Ham. Going up against Arsenal. The lineups: Arsenal, Ramsdale, Tierney, White, Gabriel, Saliba, Tom Partey, Odegaard, Xhaka, Saka, Martinelli, and Super Eddie Nketiah up front. West Ham: Fabianski, Cresswell, Soufal, Dawson, Kehrer, Paqueta, Bowen, Benrahma, Soucek, Declan Rice, and Mikel Antonio. Getting off started on this one, it felt like Arsenal was a little bit of a nervy start. There was a couple mistakes here and there. West Ham looked lively on the counter at times through Jared Bowen. He was finding some success down the wing, going up against Tierney, just able to get a yard of space here and there, and
Great success.
and being able to get crosses into the box. Arsenal, they were looking pretty good, at least. They were just kind of struggling to find that final product, but
Yeah, they really couldn't fully break down West Ham, but they, in terms of having the possession and kind of getting an attack feel.
all right, back to where we were starting before we got so rudely interrupted
Yeah.
by Zoom saying that we're plebs.
Free meeting. Who limits it? We're just gonna make a new one anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of the big moment in the first half, West Ham getting the counterattack, and William Saliba, a little out of position, goes for the tackle, misses. It's a penalty. Said Benrahma steps up, takes it cool, calm, collected. 1-0. West Ham take the lead. Unexpectedly.
Yeah, it was pretty unexpected, and I don't know if you would say undeserved because they were in it in terms of attack, but
Yeah, I think so.
just more proof that Benrahma might be West Ham's best player, and that might be why they're in a relegation fight. Well, attacking option. Obviously, Rice is still their best player, even this year, but
Yeah, I think he was pretty close to Bowen this game. But definitely far better than anyone else on the team, that's for sure.
yeah.
And I'm not sure why there has been the question of whether he should start or not.
Yeah,
kinda
you just have
confusing.
to throw him out there, keep him rolling.
After that, Arsenal were really pushing to get the goal. Things were getting pretty congested in the box. Maybe trying to force it a little too hard at times. Not having correct spacing. Eddie Nketiah had a couple chances, but the finishing wasn't there. Goes into
Pretty rough
halftime.
first half for Mr. Eddie.
Yeah, going into halftime, 1-0 West Ham with the lead, but Arsenal grab one back in the 53rd minute after Odegaard's attempted shot falls perfectly for
How dare you.
Saka.
That was a dime. It was not a shank.
That was a
by Mr.
rip of a
Odegaard.
pass.
Yeah.
Saka coolly slots it, and then 5 minutes later, Gabriel Martinelli goes for the near post filth and absolutely
Oh,
disrespects Fabianski
Fabianski, big slap right in the face.
in the
And
mud.
this has people for whatever reason saying like, why is Areola on the bench? And it's like, I don't think Fabianski's really your problem. Is he
No.
helping a ton? No. But is he really costing you? No.
Yeah. Um, and then 10 minutes later, Eddie Nketiah gets his goal after just a beautiful turn and finish. That was a real nice
Yeah, that was
sight to
a
see.
classic Arsenal with that passing.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't even mention the big news piece of this game. Arsene Wenger back at the Emirates Stadium
Yeah,
for the
about that.
first
Look
time.
at him.
Man, that was just
He looked handsome.
that was a real heartwarming sight to see, and to go out there and get the win, the 3-1 win. Things were firing, and it was good to see Arsene Wenger back.
If Arsenal would have lost
Stadium.
that, would you have said that he cursed?
Dude, I was so scared. I was like, "Don't lose. We can't lose this one, boys." He hasn't been here for 4 years. So
Yeah, solid
Arsenal,
performance.
yeah, solid performance.
And the pressure just piles on Moise.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta,
Tactically, just gotta wonder what he's doing with this team. He had a month off and he hasn't really made changes. They signed guys like Paqueta. They're not really doing much.
mm-hmm.
Sushek is honestly like useless at this point. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, he's
Antonio's
washed.
been useless.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very strange.
Yeah, I thought they looked decent in the first half, but for some reason they couldn't carry it forward in the second half.
Arsenal made some different changes and stuff in terms of how guys played, and they
Yeah.
adjusted in the midfield to make sure they could hold the ball a little longer and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then granted Xhaka and Odegaard with their dimes, what can you do?
Yeah, Odegaard is insane.
I don't think anyone on Arsenal should be up for player of the year because it's just the whole team is too good.
It's a collective.
Yeah. Therefore, no player of the year for Arsenal. Sorry.
Speaking of players of the year, Christian Pulisic.
Oh no. Oh no, no, no. I think you meant Kai Havertz. We're talking Chelsea. We're talking Bournemouth. To the lineups. Kepa, that's the player of the year. I mean, he has the top save percentage in the Premier League. Come on. Kepa, Thiago Silva, Reece James, Kula, Bali, Mark Cucurella. So they go back four. Thank God. Normal. It's normal. It just looks like a normal lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Jorginho, Mount, Zakaria, Pulisic, Sterling, Havertz. For Bournemouth, Travers, Kelly, Smith, Stacey, Senesi, Zwerma, Cook, Lerma, Billing, Solanke, Kiefer Moore, Big Keef.
Big Keef, Big Dom,
Uh,
and Big Keef. Chief Keef.
Chelsea look confident. Bournemouth not really able to match speed in this one. I'd say the main thing besides the goal in this half was Pulisic clearly pulled down by his jersey by Adam Smith. Like full on fistful of jersey, no pen given. Apparently checked on VAR. Nothing. Quite strange. Doesn't matter though. Chelsea able to turn their quick transition from defense, especially in this game, they're really able to turn the ball from midfield into the final third really fast. A lot of short, quick passes. Eventually, they got Sterling out wide, who squared it for Kai Havertz for a tap in 1-0. Yeah, just that swift transition. Really, really paying off well for Chelsea in this game, especially their second goal. I mean, it was same thing, swift transition that led kind of to a layoff on the edge of the box from Mount, where it just ripped it for 2-0, and you thought, oh, maybe this is kind of Chelsea breakout game. After that, Chelsea didn't do a ton in attack. Bournemouth's defense was really kind of out of shape quite often, which is surprising. They've been so solid this year.
Mm-hmm.
But Chelsea just really able to find space that Bournemouth can't really close in time. Reece James and Sterling had some chances right before half, but Neto able to make saves on both of those. So halftime went in 2-0 Chelsea. And then already in the second half, you could kind of really tell Bournemouth wouldn't make it nearly as easy at Chelsea, as they were playing a lot smarter and faster, kind of closing down space. With that said, Sterling, Mount, and Havertz all had really good games fully through the first half and through the second half. Really good job kind of springing the counter in the second half by each of them. There wasn't like completely brain dead decisions, whether it's keep dribbling, not to pass, taking the shot. They all made the right decisions. Big chance for Koulibaly off a corner at the 73rd minute is not taken, goes just wide. Best chance for Bournemouth was a giveaway by Chelsea, and Kepa kind of just collected the square ball by Christie, just not able to do much. And then Dom Solanke at the end off a free kick had a header that went just wider on the 90th minute. Finishes 2-0 for Chelsea. Kind of a win Chelsea needed. It wasn't super dominant. The first half was dominant. Second half was a little more balanced, but Chelsea were probably the better side. But I thought they did a good job. We talked about with Chelsea before the break, it really felt like Potter just went in kind of trying to solidify the defense in midfield, making sure that teams weren't going to have it easy attacking it against them. And it was like, yeah, you do that well, but Chelsea's attack didn't look very good. This game in the first half, Chelsea's attack looked fine. So I don't know, maybe they're kind of coming around a bit. Then again, Bournemouth, probably one of Bournemouth's worst performances of the year. They
Barring
probably
the
played
9-0.
worse in this game. I was gonna say they didn't play that bad in that game, but
That's
it's
true.
probably up there with that 9-1 game. So
9-0.
9-0.
9-0.
How about talk about bad performances? Nottingham Forest.
We
I
should
don't think they'll-
mention just one last thing. Reece James going out injured
Yeah,
out
with the knee
for
injury, going to be out
3 to 4
weeks.
weeks.
Maybe he's just the new Marco Royce, just like amazing player, but always hurt.
Yeah. So anyways, back to the real talking points. Nottingham Forest are completely trash.
How could they ever win a game on the road? I don't think it's possible.
They're another team where I say, okay, they have this break, this second preseason. Let's see what they can do with it.
And they come out with dog shit.
They come out with Jesse Lingard, like the equivalent
You
of
know-
starting Diego Costa.
You know what's funny? Is the fact that you called before the year they'd be god awful, and then you backed off it. You should have really went all in.
Yeah, I should have.
Silly Sam.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get back to Eric Ten Hag proving why he's a genius real quick.
Indeed, he is not fraudulent yet.
He beat Forest just at home.
To the lineups: De Gea, Malacia, Varane, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Eriksen, Casemiro, Anthony, and Martial. For Forest, Wayne Hennessy, Joe Worrell, Serge Aurier, Willy Bolly, Renan Lodi, Mangala, Yates, Freuler, Awonyi, Lingard, Johnson. This lineup, complete trash.
I don't want anything to do with that.
Why is Nico Williams on the bench? Why is Lewis O'Brien on the bench? Why is Jesse
Lewis
Lingard
O'Brien,
playing?
okay, Nico Williams should not be on the bench. Why is Jay Lings ever out there?
Yeah.
Terrible decision.
Apparently Gibbs White is MIA. I'm not sure what happened to him.
Yeah, it must be hurt.
Yeah.
Manuel Dennis might actually finish with like 4 appearances.
Yeah. And I'm not feeling it, honestly.
No.
Getting into the game, it was pretty much United from start to finish. They had a chance early on. Malacia ripping a near post shot, saved by Hennessy. 19th minute, open up the scoring, perfectly executed corner for United. Sees Rashford wide open in the box to receive a low corner and shoots first time. Really well worked. Kind of the new hot play, the pick on the corner.
Yep.
Worked perfect in this one. And then just 3 minutes later, they grab a second long ball up the flank to Rashford, finds Martial top of the box, whose shot slips past Wayne Hennessy with the Gavin Bazunu weak wrists.
Oh, man.
And there's a reason why Wayne Hennessy does not start Premier League games. Because this guy, is trash.
He's washed.
Yeah.
He was never really there, but he's really washed now.
Mm-hmm. Forrest had a half chance, maybe. Yates had a crack from distance, forcing De Gea into a save, which he styled onto them, and he didn't even use his hands. He saved it with his chest, which was interesting. Can't say I've ever seen that before. Right before halftime, 41st minute, Forrest scored from a free kick after Yates' header is deflected off of Bowley, but Bowley was offside.
Yeah, hey, you know what's a good
Disallowed.
idea too? Let's play Willy Bolly.
Yeah, Willy Bowley, stop.
Talked about cooked. He was cooked for like the championship 2 years ago, let alone the Premier League. What the hell are you doing?
Forrest just went around and they're like,
Give me all your trash.
give me all your dead wood. I deem Forrest Deadwood FC, and it's fitting because it's Forrest, and they're
Yeah,
Deadwood
I see what you
FC.
did there. I see what you did there.
And honestly, it offends me. But anyways, keep extending Stephen Cooper.
Give him the extension.
Give
Give
him
him all
the
the extensions.
2030.
Give him hair extensions.
4 more years. I don't know if it's his fault or...
It's a mix. I mean, he could probably make it a little better, but you can only polish a turd so much.
I need to know who was the person saying we need to sign these guys. You have smart
It's the same
signings
guy
like
who was
Nico
at Sunderland
Williams.
when they wrote down Ibrahimovic on the
You
on the
have
sheet.
you have smart signings like Nico Williams, and then you counter them by bringing in freaking Jesse Lingard on 200K a week and Willy Bolly and
I mean, the main thing is like they did the opposite Chelsea, where Chelsea are like all defenders. We're bringing in all defenders. Nottingham Forest, like, yeah, we can rock these championship like mid-table defenders,
yeah,
and we'll just put other guys around them. It's like,
yeah,
no, you won't. You don't have any ball winners.
yeah. And
Terrible.
we saw in the second goal, anytime there's a dynamic play, their defense cannot handle it. They
Yeah,
don't move well.
it looks like they've never played the game of footy before.
Yeah. So it goes into halftime, 2-0.
Oh
United
my
in
God, we're
cruise
only at
control.
halftime.
Second half, not super exciting. There's a chance for Anthony after a nice play from Rashford.
Everyone's
They
getting
find
on his
Bruno.
case now. This feels like when the Yankees fans this year got on Joey Gallo. And it's like there's nothing to complain about, but they still find one thing and they're like, Anthony sucks. What's he doing?
Lay step over, man. Lay Techers, man.
Lay
Lay spinny, man.
The spinorama
uh,
himself.
Martial had a chance saved, and Rashford had a shot go straight at Hennessy, easily saved. And then in the 87th minute, just a real disaster class. Emmanuel Dennis got subbed on, and he
Yep.
proceeded to give the ball away like every time he
Every
touched
time.
the ball. Every
Oh
time.
yeah.
So this one, he gives away the ball for about the 9 millionth time since coming on. Casemiro plays just a perfect ball to Fred, who scores nicely. Ends 3-0. Easy victory for United. Forest, absolutely trash. What's new?
I mean, I get it was the only game on at the time, but I saw a lot of people tweeting about Casemiro and how good he is. It's like, this is the game you tweet about how good he is? This is the
Yeah,
game?
I don't think that was really necessary, honestly. It was like, yeah, he played
Oh
fine,
my gosh.
but it's
He played
Forest
well.
lads.
It's Forest lads, yeah. Come
They're
on.
literally a championship team. If that,
I've
a
heard
mid-table
I've heard
championship
enough.
team.
I've heard enough about
Yes.
Forest. We're moving on to the final game. Manchester City Leeds United. To the lineups: Melia, Koch, Cooper, Stroy, Christensen. Talk about another team that needs center back help. Good lord.
Yeah.
Forshaw, by the way. Mark Roca, Sam Greenwood, Brendan Aronson, Rodrigo, and your guy Wilf, the other Wilf,
Nyonto,
Wilf G Not.
the little guy.
I call him G Not.
He's awesome.
Ederson, Stones, Ake, Akanji, Rico Lewis. Get in Rico Lewis. Gindogan, Rodri, De Bruyne, Holland, Grealish, Mahrez. I thought the best part about this game was Tyler Adams before the game, like pre-game NBC Sports, like talking to the crew. That was pretty good. Other than that, it was all Man City, I tell you what. Great chance for De Bruyne early, but puts it wide, and you could just tell Man City were going to dominate this game. It was like no one was in the middle of the field for Leeds. They had like 4 attackers, and the rest were just like a back line, and they were all disorganized. As City just dominated the middle of the pitch. Gindogan with a skidder, trickles just wide around 20 minutes. City's passing on point, but Leeds just holding on. Holland was 1-on-1, but Cooper got enough to make him take it early, and big save by Meslier. Jack Grealish may never score again, I guess. I don't know what any of those chances were. Missed a tap in from Mahrez. Lewis set him up for a good chance, couldn't score. Mahrez had a really good chance from Grealish too, but put it wide. It is kind of tough. But then finally, City score. Nice little quick transition, which they're really doing this whole game. You would have thought that like Man City were just counterattacking the whole game, but the quick transition anytime they turn leads over. Anyways, Rodri off the transition play collects the rebound, slots at 1-0 for a halftime lead. Cooper disaster class, try to play it square across to strike at the back, gives it away. It's a 2-on-0 for Grealish and Holland, and Grealish feeds Holland for 2-0. And then Erling Haaland gets another pass from Jack Grealish to make it 3-0. De Bruyne running the ball up. It was kind of weird because it wasn't much of a De Bruyne game, but he was just running the ball up this whole time. A lot of progressive runs out of him today. Leeds do get one as Sam Greenwood gets the corner routine down, and it gets over to Struijk for 3-1. And then Leeds kind of started coming live for a little bit. Unfortunately, the rally was kind of killed once Joe Gelhardt just missed a chance. Just missed it. Could have made it 3-2, but nonetheless finishes 3-1. Relatively exciting game. You just wonder how Man City didn't score more. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our first week back. It was a good week
Yes.
for the most part, I would
Feels
say.
good. Feels good.
I mean, it just hits different, doesn't it?
Yeah. The only game that I wouldn't watch again ever was Fulham Palace. Maybe Newcastle Leicester. That game kind of sucked too.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. United versus Forest was pretty
Yeah,
rough
that
because
that
Forest
goes
sucks.
without saying. Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's get to this week's games.
Yes.
West Ham Brentford. I think London Stadium, so it's at West Ham. Brentford won there last year. West Ham really kind of in shambles. It feels like if there's one team that a team who's kind of teetering can pull one off against, it'd be Brentford, just because Brentford's so up and down.
Yeah.
I think Brentford have to make hay while the sun's still shining, aka get points while you have Ivan Toney.
Yes, for sure.
I just don't really like West Ham's dynamic right now. I'm going to go Brentford 2-1.
I'm going to say Brentford 2-0.
Liverpool Leicester at Anfield. Leicester just got, is it dolly-whopped? Is that a word? I think it is.
Yes,
Against
I think so.
Newcastle. So guess what? I think Liverpool will end up doing the same thing at Anfield, but I guess you never know. I will say Leicester without James Maddison,
Brutal.
extremely boring.
Brutal.
So I'm gonna go Liverpool 3-0.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 3.
2-0.
I'm gonna say 3-0. Cody Gakpo scores on the
He gets
debut.
subbed on for a goal.
Subbed on.
And Darwin Núñez cries himself to sleep. Wolves Man U. This is a tough game for United. Wolves might have something going here.
I don't think so. I think Wolves are still not good. And I don't think they will be good.
Okay.
I mean, they do sit back, which I guess United will have to try a little harder than against Forest.
I feel like this probably ends up like a 1-0 United, but they don't really deserve the goal, or it's like a penalty or something. It's like an own goal or a penalty.
I think it'll be similar to the game against Forest. Pretty comfortable. I'll say 2-0.
Okay. Bournemouth Palace.
You didn't give a score prediction on that, did you?
Oh, I did. I said 1-0 United.
1-0, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, you better apologize. Bournemouth Palace at the Vitality. It feels great to be back at the Vitality.
Yes.
Palace with a shocker of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Bournemouth with a kind of stinker of a game. Two teams that need to flush last week and get their mind straight, but can either of them pull it out, Sam? What are you going to be looking at?
I'm at the point with Palace. I think they gotta show me something before I can buy into them again.
Okay,
I mean, especially that last game. That was brutal.
that was bad.
I'm gonna say
That was bad.
Fulham. I'm looking at the next one. Bournemouth is gonna win 2-1.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
I think that Bournemouth are kind of going down a little bit, but I don't love Palace's defense at the moment right now. But they
Yeah.
didn't show me much in attack either, so we'll see. Um, Fulham, Southampton.
Seeing that
I want to check
lineup.
the odds here real quick, because I might tell our good friend to put a large sum of money on this for me.
Yeah, seeing that lineup last week out of Southampton, I can't in good faith today I
How's that tomorrow?
expect anything out of
Fulham is
Southampton.
plus 100. I will be telling him to put money on Fulham.
Yeah.
This is going to be a 3-0, 2-0, maybe 2 or 3-1. I don't know. Southampton are struggling.
Yeah, I think 3-0 probably.
City, Everton.
Everton, they didn't play that bad last game. I feel like
That's
people
the eternal
probably,
state of Everton. They never play like
yeah,
that bad under
that's
Fat
true.
Frank. It's just they can't ever get it going. And it's at the Etihad. This feels like it could be really bad, and it might reach the point of people really bringing up the Fat Frank getting sacked.
It could
This
be.
could be like a 3-0.
I'm gonna say 1-0 City. I think Everton will hold it down.
Okay. Newcastle Leeds.
I think this will probably be a pretty easy game for Newcastle at home against Leeds. Leaky Leeds.
Yeah, maybe there's a Newcastle Fulham parlay in the cards. What is Newcastle? They're probably minus, but it's still worth it. Let's see.
I would think they'd be minus quite a big amount.
Okay, this is literally load. What are you doing? Just trying to pull it up real quick here. They don't have odds for it. I don't know how that's even possible. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to do more deep diving. Yeah, I find it hard to believe that Newcastle wouldn't win this game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a 4-1.
All right, and then the final game on Saturday, a really tasty matchup. Brighton versus Arsenal at the Amex.
Yes. No Caicedo suspended, I believe.
Oh,
But Brighton does have 4 wins to the 3 draws and 3 Arsenal wins. So they hold the championship belt right now between these two teams.
they are a team that Arsenal has struggled with. Got beat last season. I think.
And the year before that.
I
I
think.
just remember the one where they had green kits. Brighton had green kits, and the Arsenal like just finished shy of 4th. They like needed that game, and then there's the
Yeah.
gif of like I think it was Basuma walking off the field laughing.
Brutal.
I'm gonna go Arsenal 2-1. I think it'll be close even without Caicedo, but not gonna be easy. Might go 3-2. I'm gonna go 3-2.
I'm gonna say 2-2.
Okay. Mr. Anti-Jinx.
No.
What is Mr. West Ham is going to be a goalless draw with Arsenal last week. What the hell? Put that in the notes for worst prediction of our eternity. West Ham keeping a clean sheet. I don't think Carragher and
I win the hanky
Zuma
for worst prediction.
Carragher and Zuma might just be terrible.
Yeah.
Dawson, regardless, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're poop.
All right, next
Although
match.
Dawson's just watch. Yeah, what's the next one besides
Spurs,
Chelsea game?
Aston Villa.
This could be Villa could have easily taken points from that Liverpool game if they could have just had any semblance of finishing.
Hmm.
I would say, is it at Villa
At
Park or
Tottenham
is it?
Hotspur.
This feels like one where Villa blow it. They blow it. It's gonna be 3-2 Tottenham.
Yeah, I think Villa will take a 1-0 lead and then blow it and lose 2-1.
Okay. Last one of the week. Chelsea, Forest at Chelsea, I believe.
At the City Ground in
Oh
Nottingham.
man, much tougher. Much tougher. I I have no faith in Forest to do anything, even though they're home. It does give them a better chance of doing something. I still don't have faith in Forest. It has to be a show me thing
Yeah,
from them. Um, I'll go Chelsea maybe with another 2-0, probably 1-0.
I was going to say 2-0.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
All right, into the
You got a
next
prediction
match
for this?
week. Oh, you want a prediction for this?
I always want a prediction for you.
Well, I kind of gave it the Cody Gakpo
All
goal
right, that's fair.
substitution.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. All right, into the next match week, the double match week. Monday game. We got Brentford versus Liverpool at the G-Tech Community Stadium.
Absolute classic last year.
Yeah, it was.
I do like Brentford's midfield a bit more than Liverpool's, but Liverpool with their rotation, you just never know what they'll throw out. I'll say Liverpool kind of get a streak going here. We'll go 2-1.
Yeah, Liverpool away hasn't been great so far this season, but
No, I think they're kind of turning a corner a bit.
yeah,
I think they just need to get Salah rolling and they'll cover up a lot of things.
yeah. What'd you say?
2-1.
2-1. Yeah, I like 2-1 Liverpool. Tuesday games: Arsenal versus Newcastle. Another tough matchup for Arsenal.
Is this in London or
Yes, this is
Tyneside?
at the Emirates.
Yeah, I think this might be a 1-1 affair. Maybe a goalless draw, but I'm gonna go 1-1.
I think because it's at the Emirates, I favor Arsenal, and I'm gonna say 1-0 Arsenal.
Okay.
And you can't accuse me of
Yeah, I
anti-jinxing
know, I
there.
shamed you. I shamed you out of it. It's about time. Now Arsenal can finally lose again.
Oh boy. Everton versus Brighton at Goodison.
Mm, I wonder if Brighton kind of take the Arsenal game easy and just go into this Everton game trying to get points, or if they're just gonna have so much taken out of by the Arsenal game that this one will be tougher.
Yeah, I think that it could be. It could be.
I'm gonna go with a draw here. I'm gonna go 1-1.
The surprise draw. I'm gonna say 1-0 Brighton.
Okay.
Leicester versus Fulham at the KP.
I'm assuming no Madison, so I'm gonna go Fulham. Fulham might just win out. Might
Yeah,
just go on a run here.
it's
No, they can't.
it's
I'm
hard
gonna.
for Leicester without Madison. I mean,
That's the thing is I don't have much faith in them to do much without him, but I can't keep picking Fulham to win because it's not
mhm.
gonna happen. But this one, it's hard to see them not. I'm gonna go 2-1.
I'm gonna call the first 0-0 of the double match week.
All right.
All right, final match on Tuesday: Man U versus Bournemouth at Old Trafford.
Feels
United
like United play at
having a
home
sneaky,
every game.
easy
Why do
freaking
they get to play at home
schedule.
every game?
That's a good question.
I don't think they've had a road game except for the Casemiro equalizer against Chelsea. I think that was their only road game of the year.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, this will be tough for Bournemouth to go in there. I feel like Bournemouth do match up pretty well with United, but uh, I'm gonna go with a 2-0 United victory.
I'll say
All
3-0.
All United needed was a 6, and they ended up getting one of the best in the world in
Yeah.
Casemiro. That's
Yeah.
all they needed. And look at how everything's resolved. It's
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, then to the Wednesday games. Southampton versus Forest. The stinker award goes to this match.
If there was ever a 6-pointer,
Yeah.
this is the one. Where's it at?
St. Mary's.
I think Southampton have to get this. They have to. If they have any hope of doing anything, I think they win this one. We'll go just a shocker 3-1 special.
I'm going to say 1-1.
Oh, disgusting.
Leeds versus West Ham at Ellen Road.
This is a sneaky 6-pointer too.
Yeah. Important 3 points.
I'm gonna go Leeds 2-1. I think Leeds, I feel more confident in their attack than West Ham's defense.
Yeah, I agree. I'll say 2-0 Leeds.
Better hurry up. We only have 6 minutes left in this meeting before we have to start another one.
All right, Aston Villa versus Wolves, a nice Birmingham derby.
Oh, yes. I love it.
Against
Nothing like
two
some
new
nice,
managers, Emery versus
some
Lopetegui.
Midlands action, baby. Yeah, both Spaniards. This will be interesting. I'll go with a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to say 2-1 Villa
Wow. Where's this? This one's at Villa Park?
at Villa Park, yes.
Okay.
Crystal Palace versus Spurs at Selhurst.
I think this would be a game Palace will somewhat get up for. Doesn't mean they'll win, but I think they're going to play Tottenham extremely tough. It could be a game where if Palace get up 1-0 or 2-0, Tottenham might just fold as opposed to having to come back, which is hard to imply, but at Selhurst, giving up that lead, not going to be an easy place to come back at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Palace 2-0.
I'm going to say Tottenham 2-0.
Okay. You love picking Tottenham to win games.
Well, they find a way. And then the
Sure.
last match, Thursday, Chelsea versus Manchester City, a big one at the Bridge. What are you thinking?
I want to think Chelsea have improved, but I don't know if they've improved enough to beat City, and Pep is going to have his guys up for this game. I'll go 1-0 City.
I'm thinking 2-0 City.
It feels like the new managers really have to take their lumps against the kind of big boys
Yeah.
early on. So, any match week prediction for that one?
For this one, I'm gonna say Danny Ings brace in the Midlands
Oh my
Derby.
goodness. Wow. That's a specialty.
Yes.
That
Sure
is
is.
a specialty.
All right.
All right.
I think that just about does it.
Perfecto.
Perfecto.
Just marron. A spicy meatball.
A spicy meatball.
All
Well,
right.
thank you everyone for
Until-
listening.
Yeah, to our terrible audio podcast. We don't promise to be back here next week, but it could happen. Anything could happen. That's why it's life, and that's why it's the Premier League.
Yes.
As is life, so is the Premier League.
All right. Well, we better get out of here before we get cut off.
Yeah, the time meeting. Adios, mis amigos.
Bye.